Joining us now is Mansur Ashkar. He's a Druze influencer. Mansur, I'm interested to hear from you what the Druze community is saying regarding Israel's involvement in these clashes, the Israeli decision to essentially get involved.
Are you talking about the Druze community in Israel or in Syria?
Both.
Well, in Israel, they're very thankful. We don't take this for granted. Israel have shown the entire world that you guys are a light to the nations of the world. You have no reason to step in and go fight in another land, someone else's war, to defend other citizens in an enemy land from their own dictatorship, jihadist Al-Qaeda regime, and you guys did that, and we are forever thankful. I'm so proud of the IDF. I was a member of the IDF myself. Very proud of being an Israeli, and that's an example for the rest of the world. Israel is behaving right now like a local power that is dictating how the Middle East should look like, and it's an honest, dignified, moral country, and it should held accountable all these jihadist evil on the other side to that standard, and I'm very proud. On the Syrian side, I want to share with you a personal story that will actually tell you how they're feeling. I have a relative there, several of them. I've been talking to them on the front line there. He was hiding in his house. He's the young boy in the family, to protect his elderly mother and father while his brother was fighting in the front against the tanks and the big guns that were coming from As-Suwayda to come and destroy and annihilate them. He was telling me that the jihadists are outside of his door right now, and he's fearing for his life. And I've lost contact with him for 3 days. Only today, I heard back that he's alive. After I've been trying to call him, he told me they got there, they rounded them all outside to execute them. They started killing women and children. And just when they came to execute his group in his neighborhood, the fighter jets of Israel came roaring over the skies, and these jihadist cowards started running away. And in that moment, the Druze who saw that charged forward and went and pushed them out, and that was the tipping point to help them push and keep fighting for their mountains. So the Druze in Syria were sending me messages of praising, of thanking Israel. They're so happy and thankful that Israel stepped in and saved them. My relatives fled that village, by the way, under the fire and shelling of tanks and artillery, only to come back later and to find that their entire village was burned, their houses were burned and looted, people were killed in hospitals, babies executed, doctors, nurses, patients. The government there came to do a genocide on them, and the Druze know that, and the Druze know that the only one that stood to defend them in the Middle East and in the world were Israel.
I'm really interested to hear how you think the situation is going to affect the Druze community, both within Israel and Syria. Obviously, there's a large Druze community living in the Golan Heights. Many have not necessarily gotten Israeli citizenship, although they have the ability to do so. Many still identify as being Syrian. Do you think that that is going to change right now? And do you think we're going to perhaps see an interest, or more of an interest, in Druze who are living in Syria come to live in the state of Israel?
I think we're actually going to witness right now Syria becoming a jihadist Al-Qaeda land, Syria becoming the next Gaza. And we're going to start seeing a lot of cry from the minorities in Syria. Right now, as we're talking, the Bedouin Muslims there and others are trying to portray right now. And you're going to mark my word, you're going to start seeing Syria is going to enter to an epic scale civil war. I wish I would be wrong, but remember that I said that. The Bedouins there are talking right now that the Druze are making ethnic cleansing against the Bedouins. And they're selling that idea, and I'm telling you very quickly, the pro-Palestine and Israel haters in the world start pushing that, and they're preparing to go and take revenge over the Druze and all the minorities, Christians and etc. The government can't control them. They lost control over Syria. Syria have become an Al-Qaeda land, and for the Druze, there is no way, and the Christians, by the way, and any minority, that they can live under that. They cannot live under Al-Jawlani, Al-Shara, and all of his jihadist guys. They're wearing patches of ISIS as they're going with these military vehicles that we're seeing here. So I think the only way to secure the situation of the Druze and minorities in Syria is to give them their own independent southern part of Syria, where all minorities can live in peace, and you will have peace between them and to Israel, and let these jihadist radicals keep playing their Taliban, Al-Qaeda games with themselves. Just don't let them come close. The border that the Druze are holding is the same border of Israel. They go through the Druze, they reach Israel. The same enemies that went and were shaving the beards of Israeli sheikhs were the same one like the Nazis shaving the beards of the rabbis in World War II, humiliating them in the street and then going and shooting them in the back of the head. These same people will do the same thing to the Americans, to the Israelis, to anyone that is not Sunnah Muslim radical like they are. So I think the Druze understands that. And I think we're going to start, hopefully, seeing some kind of talks about giving them their own independence so they can have their own border, have their own rules, have their own safety.
You know, obviously, it's really fascinating to hear your perspective and that of the Druze community within the state of Israel. The question is whether or not we're going to see international support for the creation of this kind of state that you're speaking about creating on the southern border of Syria with Israel, given the fact that there's already so much backlash against Israel for getting involved in this. I guess my final question for you is, what are members of the Druze community in Israel and also your family members in Syria saying about the fact that Israel got involved?
They're saying thank you. They would have wished that Israel maybe would have got involved a little bit earlier when they saw all these tanks coming to come and slaughter their families, but they cannot complain. They're very, very thankful. I think many of them are actually even speaking that they would wish to be annexed under Israel. If you look at it right now, the safest place in Syria are the villages that are under IDF or Israel occupation, the ones by the border. These are the safest place in Syria. And I think many of them are wishing that they can be part of Israel. If not, then with a border to have some kind of peace and stability with Israel.